Hey everyone, this is Black Ninja 546 or Shadow Ninja 546, and I'm here to talk about more social life hacks and life tips that you need to know that nobody else ever tells you. Not even Deepak Chopra can tell you this stuff. So all I'm saying is, you know, first of all, when socializing with somebody disabled, never talk to them condescendingly or assume that they're one person. Ask first what their condition is, and they'll tell you. We're not all catatonic and drooling. I mean, don't be afraid to socialize, date, or interact with disabled people on a regular level. They're just have needs like everybody else. Okay? Second, never judge someone based on what they do or how they look. I know we're living in a very looksist society, but just I know what that is. Like, just whatever it is, try to clean it up or make it better if you don't look presentable enough to be socialized. Um, Also, friendships can be very fickle. I mean, someone can be your friend 1 minute and then betray you the next. You never know what's going to happen to you, and you never know what's going to happen to you. So always be on guard everywhere you go and defend yourself. And um, you know, um, part of life is also there are people you will get along with and people you won't get along with, and so just try to avoid those kind of people. And since the world's a rotting cesspool of hate, violence, and suffering, defend yourself. And I know how distrustful it sounds, but that's life. And never make fun of someone because they're disabled. Never assume something because they're disabled. Never act condescendingly towards them. Um, learn as much survival skills as you possibly can. A lot of stuff they teach in school has no practical use, so never mock or berate someone because of their intelligence. I mean, there are different kinds of intelligence, but never call them a nerd or spaz or anything like that, because they can be the sweetest people you know, or good natured. Um, there's so much you can value to having intelligence, um, and to mock that seems very trivial. And you never know what the hell's going to happen to you. So arm yourselves. And I'm talking about this because I come from a military ancestry type bloodline. Um, there are ancestors of mine that fought on both sides of the Civil War, so I'm very kind of warrior conscious all the time. So that explains it. Um, you know, uh, Around Christmas time, I know just generally only buy stuff you need. I know people who, have a million pairs of fancy shoes and stuff, and suits and fancy things they don't need. And there are people who, in this world, not only in low income countries like Ecuador, Bolivia, Brazil, that walk around with tattered shoes or poor quality shoes. I mean, poverty rate is horrendous in some countries, but there is such a thing as international development, where countries that were once low income can raise their economies quite well, like China and India. And so, don't treat the rest of the world as inferior. Be more globally conscious, and you'll be a more enlightened person. Um, and Also, you never know who you might meet, but just sort of be more conscientious of how you spend your money on things you need rather than things you don't need, or just binge shop like crazy. Christmas was really about a time when you bought stuff for people who needed stuff the most, like a pair of shoes, or a coat, or Christmas was for people who didn't have anything. And don't be so hung up on greed. Um, only buy things you need. So, um, you know, um, become rich for humanitarian purposes. Use wealth as a way of helping people who are less fortunate, or in ways of improving situations that are less fortunate. Um, you know, and most of all, just because someone is disabled doesn't give you the right to completely don't not acknowledge them. Don't just pass right over their heads. Approach them, talk to them, get to know them. You know, I've gotten this a lot where people just kind of assume what my disability is and just ignore me entirely. And um, you know, and don't be afraid to socialize. Just because someone is afraid of socializing or introverted doesn't mean they're antisocial or a loner or something. It's just that their energies are more invested towards introverted things, and don't be afraid to bring them out of their shell, so to speak. And you know, since a lot of things they're teaching and learning is a tremendous pain in the ass in schools, learn about how to make a makeshift bed, or survive, or cook your own food, or defend yourself, or practical things that make sense. Okay, and I hope, and most of all, when you learn about disabilities, learn about what they are, and that there are there's a spectrum of disability, and people still need to be interacted with and loved, and need these things just as anyone else. And you'll become more enlightened, and that's all I gotta say. Okay. If you have more life hacks that you'd like me to mention, please comment below and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much.